All right, this time the quick speed shop. Check it out. I've got a Piggyback oil pan drain plug, and I've got my Ford Econoline van back here. I've got a stripped out oil pan drain plug. We're going to try to use this unit to repair it. Is it going to work? Let me show you how to install it and we'll see if it holds. Now here's what was in the oil pan originally when I went to change oil. I think it's a Dorman part. I've seen these. Dorman makes them, you can get them other places, but essentially it's like a toggle bolt. If you're ever familiar with drywall, where you stick a toggle bolt through a hole in the drywall and it flips out with a spring and then it holds against the drywall. It's essentially what this is. What had happened is the piece is broken out now, but the centerpiece has threads on. Down here it had split, and that allowed the threads to get stripped. So when I backed off, it backed out, then I went to tighten it back down, it wouldn't tighten up. That's what was in there. So now I think we've got the answer here. This is Dorman part 090035CD. What this is this is a Piggyback oil drain plug. It's called Piggyback, and it was $8. I got it at the local auto parts store. They had it in stock, and this is a 1/2" 20 thread, which is what my oil pan is, but you can get these in different thread pitches. You can get them metric and whatever. So essentially what you get is the threads are larger on here to the right thread pitch, but they're larger diameter, so they cut into the stripped out threads. And essentially you take this bigger bolt and it locks down in place of the stock oil pan drain plug. Then you've got a smaller bolt here, which is going to be your new drain hole. It's going to be significantly smaller. It looks like it's down less than 1/8 inch, but this will be your new seal. So when you go to change oil next time, the big part will be fixed in there, and you'll put a big wrench on this to hold it so it doesn't back out, and then you'll take a smaller wrench and back this off here. So we're going to install this, and if I've seen some other videos on this, people install these and they put JB Weld around them to help them not leak. Here's my oil pan, and I took, in the meantime, while I've been working on this, I threaded in a 1/2" 20 bolt, which that's what the threads are, and I tried to snug it up, see if it will hold, and the threads are just stripped in the oil pan where it will not seal. It will not hold tight enough to seal. I'm afraid it's going to back out. So we'll back this out. So here is the repair Piggyback, and it's going to cut some threads, and it's going to thread in here. I'm going to get some RTV. We're going to put RTV on this and RTV it in there. Let me wipe this off. Okay, I've applied some RTV to this. I can see. I get it started straight if I can. Get in there. It's a little tight because it's going to cut some new threads. It's getting close. The RTV is starting to squish out. I'm not going to tighten it too tight. Some firm pressure. All right, about like that. Let me get a little more RTV, and I'm going to put some more RTV around here. I believe it's seated in there. I used 1 minute quick set RTV when I threaded that in there, and I'm going to use a little bit more permanent RTV on the outside here. Now, this is going to be a little sloppy. Don't be scared. But I do not want this to leak, so we're going to make it a little excessive here. The best scenario would be to replace the oil pan, but in order to do that in this van, I'm pretty sure you need to unbolt the engine and jack it up, and that requires taking the intake manifold off and a bunch of other work, which if I can get this to seal and hold, it's going to be okay for what I'm doing here. Essentially, that's it. A lot of the newer cars with aluminum oil pans, it's real common that the aluminum threads strip out in the aluminum oil pan. This pan is steel, but it's the same premise. You can screw it into aluminum oil pan. So hopefully when the RTV sets up and it cures and I refill this with oil, this thing will be good to go, sealed up, I'll have a repair here that should last for a while. Hopefully it won't leak, and I'll have a new drain plug that's not stripped out, and I'll be able to not have my oil pan leak, but actually change my oil as well. Okay, so that's it. I'm just going to wait 24 hours for the RTV to completely cure before I put the engine oil back in the engine. But that twist in there tight, it was nice and tight and sealed up, and with the RTV, it actually should make a good seal, even with the plastic washer and the RTV. I'm sure it's going to be good. I've seen other videos where people use JB Weld around them. I'm going to try the RTV first. If it does show signs of leakage, I can remove the RTV and clean it up and use some JB Weld or something like that to seal it up, or seal oil or seal all or something like that. But I'm pretty confident that it's screwed in there tight with the gasket and the RTV should seal good. So I've essentially repaired the drain pan for $8. This is something you can do at home very easily, and they make them in different size pitch threads, like I said, metric and standard. This one happens to be a half 20 fine thread for Ford, but a lot of cars are metric now. But they have them at the auto parts store for about $8, and you can save yourself a ton of time on damaged oil drain plug threads. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned something here, and check back in for more tech tips. Bam! Here at the Quick Speed Shop.